somewhere in Boston, there was a young fellow. His name was Stephen Weiss, was a very bright kid. In 6th and 7th grade, he showed tremendous promise. This boy was going to become one of these geniuses to go to a preparatory high school where he'd get into an Ivy League, and his father and mother had a lot of hopes for him. However, they were very secular people. They didn't know much Torah at all. And Stephen now is introduced to this high school. However, it's a very Christian high school. Yeah, it's a private school, very expensive to go. And the parents had a lot of money, so they had no problem paying for it. But to get in, you need to have a lot of credentials. And the head of the school was none other than the pastor of the town. He was a priest. The guy was a priest. So he's interviewing Stephen. And he says, so Stephen, so tell me about yourself. And he asks him a lot of questions. He's a very bright kid. He said, you know, I like you. I want you to come to my school. Can I ask you one last question? Are you Jewish? Stephen said, he can't lie. His name is Stephen Weiss. That's a Jewish name. He's like, yes, I am Jewish. He says, good, I have no problem with that. I'll accept you to my school, but on one condition. Twice a week, after school is over at 4 o'clock, I want to study with you. I want to study personally with you from 4 to 5 o'clock every week. And do you know Hebrew? Stephen said, not really. I mean, for my bar mitzvah, I learned a couple of words. He says, well, good, we're going to start with the Hebrew alphabet, and I'm going to teach you how to read. He says, really? Okay. If that's the deal. His parents say, no problem. He goes there, and sure enough, this priest, Galah, this Kumar, he's teaching him Aleph, Bet, he's teaching him how to read Hebrew. By the end of the year, he was fluent in Hebrew, and he taught him Chumash. By the next year, 10th grade, they went Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidvad, he taught him the Chumash. By 11th grade, he started teaching him Mishnah. Berachot, Shabbat, Eruvin, Mitzvot that we do. The priest was very knowledgeable in Hebrew and Halakha and in Mishnah. By the senior year, he tells him, Stephen, I taught you everything I know, but you don't have enough of Jewish education. Not far from us, there's a place in Baltimore, Maryland, that has a high Talmudic academy. I'd like you to go once a week. And he went and he got his degree in Talmud. He studied the Gemara. And after he graduated high school, Stephen said, Doc, teacher, I got to ask you a question. I'm very grateful for everything you taught me, but why in the world you're a Christian? Did you teach me so much Hebrew knowledge? He says, well, today you graduated is the day that I promised I would tell you. And it's a debt that I owe the Jewish people from 25 years ago. I was a graduate of a college, and we had 1 year before we would continue on to do what we would do. We took a break, and many of us went to travel through Europe and found ourselves in Israel. And me and a group of friends were very interested in the old city of Jerusalem. We studied with JC and the monasteries and the Judaism, and I found myself attracted to the Western Wall. On one Friday night, I walked over to the Western Wall, and the customers, they put something on your head. Now, I could go either way. I looked like a Jewish guy praying at the wall. So a fellow tapped me on the shoulder and said, no, you have a place to eat tonight. You want to eat some Shabbos? I said, yeah, actually, I'm starving like Marvin. All my friends are gone. They went to Tel Aviv. He was praying. He's more of a religious guy. He probably comes from the Ruach, the wind. He had some kind of spirit. And he went Friday night for dinner. And the next day, he stayed for Shabbat lunch. And they're testing him questions, and he's a very smart guy. So the guy who invited him told him, why don't you come to Esha Torah? That's a yeshiva where they teach you how to learn. And he told his friends for the next few weeks he's going to be staying there, and he studied very well. By the end of the month, he called his parents and said they invited me to stay for the year. And that entire year, I learned Hebrew, I learned Chumash, and I learned Mishnah. I was very good at it. And I was about to leave, and the head of the yeshiva told me, sir, you've been here for a year. You haven't really tasted the Talmud. You're ready now for the real learning? And I couldn't hide anymore. And they took me to Rabbi Noach Weinberg. He was the Rosh Yeshiva. And I confessed, I said, the truth is, I'm not Jewish. I just love the Jewish wisdom. And his face fell. He said, what? How could you trick us like that? You're not Jewish. You're coming here. We took care of you. We supported you. We spent our time in teachers. And I felt very embarrassed. And I was ashamed, like I stole. And I said, how could I make it up to you? The rabbi was a wise man. He said, you're going to go on in life and be successful. I see it. And if one day a Jewish child comes your way, you must return all what we taught you and give it over to that Jewish child. He says, today is the day that I fulfilled my vow. Today is the day that I went over and above. I paid back with interest. I paid with my own personal money. You should have a Talmudic education. Go back to your people. And this young boy went to Esha Torah, became a Talmid Chacham. He became a scholar and a sage because Hashem loves every Jew. And he saw the only way to get this kid back is through that goy, through that priest, to go and to bring him back. You see how much Hashem loves Am Yisrael, and He wants us to learn His Torah?